Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating scientific framework. It's called the Human Grounding Benefits Structural Hypothesis. Now you might be wondering, if you just touch the Earth with your bare feet, could that actually change how your body functions inside? I mean, it sounds a little bit like magic, right? But today we're going to look at the actual hard science behind this idea. We'll explore exactly how our bodies interact electrically with the Earth, and more importantly, how scientists actually plan to test if this connection improves our health.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, what is human grounding? Number 2, the structural hypothesis explained. Number 3, how do we test it? Number 4, proving the hypothesis wrong. And number 5, real-world health implications.
All right, Section 1, what is human grounding?
In super simple terms, grounding is just physically touching the Earth to change your body's electrical charge. You know that annoying static shock you get from a doorknob in the winter? Yeah, your body builds up an electrical charge just from moving around our modern environments. So grounding means placing your bare skin, usually your feet, directly on the grass, the dirt, or the sand. Or you can even use a special wire that's connected to the Earth. And when you do this, your body's electrical charge basically balances out with the Earth's charge. It's just a basic physical reaction.
Now let's look at our existing understanding of the problem. We already know for a fact that grounding drops the electrical voltage in your body. That's super easy to measure with a basic tool called a voltmeter. And there have been some small studies that show some really exciting promise. Some people sleep better, they show minor positive changes in their stress hormone, which is called cortisol, and they even report less pain. There's actually some early data showing it might help our red blood cells move a bit more smoothly too. But, and this is a really big but, these studies have been very, very small.
Because of that, we absolutely have to draw a clear line here. On one side, we've got measurable physics. If you touch the ground, your body voltage drops. Boom, proven fact. On the other side, though, we have unproven medical claims. Just because your voltage drops, it definitely doesn't mean grounding is this magical cure-all for every disease under the sun. We need robust, massive scientific proof to actually connect that drop in voltage to real guaranteed health benefits.
Which brings us to Section 2, the structural hypothesis explained.
To really wrap our heads around this, we need to look at the work of Kevin L. Brown. He's a researcher, inventor, and author who actually outlined this whole testing framework. His core idea goes like this. A biological system may regulate more efficiently when unnecessary boundary gradients are reduced. Okay, what does that mean in plain English? Basically, our bodies might just handle stress, heal, and run a whole lot better when we strip away all that extra electrical noise from our environment.
And that leads us to the formal scientific claim known as the Earth-Human Boundary Regulation Hypothesis. It states that if lowering your body's voltage actually matters to your biology, then staying grounded over a sustained period of time should produce repeatable, measurable improvements. Specifically, we're talking about better sleep, lower stress, and faster recovery. But remember, right now this is just a hypothesis waiting to be tested. It is not a confirmed medical fact yet. So that brings up a massive question, doesn't it? If someone goes outside, walks barefoot in the park, and feels amazing, how do we actually know it's the electrical grounding making them feel better? I mean, what if they just feel better because they're relaxing in nature, getting some fresh air, or just expecting to feel good? How do we separate a real biological change from a simple placebo effect?
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds. How do we test it? Scientists use something called a crossover trial to figure this out. Here's how it works. Step 1 is a 2-week baseline, just to see how the person normally sleeps and feels day to day. Then Step 2, they spend 4 weeks in what we call Condition A. Step 3 is a washout period, basically just a break to let their body hit the reset button. And finally, Step 4, they spend another 4 weeks in Condition B. Now this brilliantly illustrates the genius of the test. So what exactly are Conditions A and B? Well, one of them is a true grounded condition, where the person sleeps on a grounding mat that is actually connected to the Earth. The other is a sham grounded condition. They sleep on the exact same mat, with the exact same wires, but the wire is secretly disconnected. It's totally double-blind. Neither the participant nor the scientist measuring the results has any clue who is really grounded and who is faking it until the very end of the study.
To make sure the math is absolutely solid, Kevin L. Brown's framework requires a minimum of 300 adults to take part. And this group isn't just randomly picked either. They need to be carefully divided into healthy sleepers, poor sleepers, and people who are actively recovering from intense exercise. That ensures we get to see exactly how grounding affects completely different types of body stress.
But we aren't just sitting around asking these 300 people, hey, how do you feel today? No way. We are measuring hard, objective data. The study measures heart rate variability, which tracks automatic body stress. It tracks exact sleep efficiency using monitors. It measures the exact timing of the stress hormone cortisol in their saliva. It looks at information markers in their blood. And of course, it constantly monitors their actual body-to-ground electrical voltage.
Moving on to Section 4. Proven the hypothesis wrong.
Now, what's really interesting about this framework is the strict falsification parameters. You see, a good scientific theory has to have clear rules for how it can fail. First up, the physiological null. If the body's voltage drops, but sleep and stress don't improve one bit, the theory is wrong. Second, sham equivalence. If the folks on the fake, disconnected mats get the exact same health benefits as the truly grounded people, the theory is wrong. And third, no dose response. If grounding for a solid 8 hours gives you the exact same result as grounding for just 5 minutes, well, the theory is highly suspicious.
All of this ensures we are testing the true electrical connection and not just behavioral confounding. Now, behavioral confounding is just a fancy way of saying people get better simply because their routine changed. If people only feel better because they're finally taking time to relax outdoors, or maybe just paying more attention to their bedtime routine, then the electrical grounding hypothesis is effectively rejected.
Ultimately, this all boils down to the decision rule. If grounding reliably changes body voltage, which again, we know for a fact it does, but it produces no corresponding biological benefit in these strict double-blind tests, the mechanism is falsified. Period. It proves the framework is impartial and completely rigorous, because at the end of the day, science doesn't care what we hope is true, it only cares what the data actually proves.
Let's jump to Section 5, Real-World Health Implications.
Imagine a world where this actually passes the test. If validated, the real-world implications are absolutely huge. Grounding could become a standard, super low-cost way to help people struggling with disrupted sleep. It could act as a totally natural tool for faster autonomic stress recovery, basically helping our bodies calm down after a really hard day. It could be a non-drug aid for athletes recovering from intense workouts. It might even lead to brand new building standards for electrical hygiene, where our homes and offices are actually designed to reduce all that unnecessary electrical noise hitting our bodies.
So, the crucial point here is managing our expectations. Even if this is fully validated, we have to respect the limitations. Grounding does not cure diseases like cancer. It does not act as a magical universal antioxidant that's going to fix a terrible diet. And it certainly never replaces standard medical care, good sleep habits, or regular exercise. It would be a powerful, low-cost support tool, not a replacement for your doctor.
Finally, the research framework points out that perfectly healthy people who already sleep great, well, they might not notice much of a difference from grounding at all. The people who really stand to benefit the most are those with disrupted sleep, high chronic stress, folks who live in environments absolutely packed with electrical fields, and those who spend their entire lives indoors with almost zero natural contact with the earth.
As we wait for these massive 300-person trials to actually happen, it leaves us with a highly provocative question to ponder. If simply connecting to the Earth's natural charge can fundamentally stabilize our stress and our sleep, are we currently living in a state of chronic electrical disconnection? It's definitely something to think about the next time you get the chance to take off your shoes and just walk in the grass. Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and keep learning.